morning, good afternoon, and good evening. We appreciate you tuning back in to the Legal Insider. I'm the host, Doug Dempsey, and this show is being brought to you by WMTV5, broadcast from the wonderful Grosse Pointe War Memorial, where we appreciate everything that's being done overseas and on our land to take care of our freedom and our rights. I have the distinct privilege and honor of hosting the show today with a very excellent attorney who practices in the area of family law. Should you have any questions regarding his comments today or any other comments that occur on WMTV5, please contact the War Memorial at 313-881-7511. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce Armand Velardo.
Thank you, Doug. I appreciate the opportunity to be here and talk to your viewers.
We're going to talk today specifically about some areas that you handle, and that's in the divorce area. But before we get to that aspect of the show, I'd like you to give the people out there a little bit of background about yourself and the firm and where the firm's located and how it is that you became an attorney affiliated with dealing with family law.
Okay. Well, I'm a product of Wayne State University. I have 3 college degrees, an accounting degree, a law degree, and a master's in taxation. I started off in the public accounting firms in their tax department. After I obtained my CPA, I then started practicing law. And about 7 years ago, I joined a firm of Rigorello, Velardo, Novara, and Verbeek PC. We're located in Mont Clemens. We have 8 attorneys, and we can handle from A to Z any type of legal matters that are civil in nature and planning in nature. We do not get involved in criminal cases. So that's a little bit about our firm.
You do handle the variety of cases from the defense work of a divorce, the defense work of a civil case, the business aspects, and the divorces.
That's correct.
In handling a divorce, there are a lot of intricate details that go along with it, and probably one question many people out there are asking themselves is, how in the world do I pay for the divorce, and what typically might it cost me in the event that I do want to get a divorce?
Well, most divorce attorneys, myself including, we charge an hourly rate. And we typically ask for a retainer.
Which is non-refundable.
Well, my firm, they're refundable.
Okay.
Most lawyers will make them non-refundable, but as far as I'm concerned, if I ask for a retainer amount and for some reason they reconcile, then I will return that portion of the retainer that I haven't used.
Okay.
That's just our approach. But a divorce, I've done them as cheap as $2,500, and I've been involved in a divorce that's exceeded $250,000. So
in fees?
In fees.
Okay.
It depends on the net worth, the intricacies, and how the parties are working together, or are they battling. And so it really, there's a wide variety, a range on what a divorce can cost. But my goal is always to get in, get out, and let the healing begin. I try not to, in fact, I don't churn a file. My goal is to try to charge the client the least amount possible and get them to where they want to get.
Which is either reconciled, divorced, and on their way, trying to let the process heal.
That's correct.
With your business background, I have to believe that that's a benefit to you and to your clients in particular if they are self-employed, if they own their own company. Would you agree with that?
I would, and that's how I started in the family law arena. I've been involved in shareholder disputes between brothers or between parents and their children in the corporate setting. And as a result, I was brought into some high-end divorces from a financial standpoint and understanding the companies, how much value they have, what type of income are they spinning off, or whether income is being hid. And that's how my practice started in the family law arena. And then I, of course, started doing all types of divorces, smaller divorces, mid-sized divorces, and of course high-end divorces.
And you also do business work, business planning and things of that nature.
I do.
So you do some work for individuals even though they may not be going through a divorce because of your business background. That's another specialty that you handle.
Right, corporate planning, estate planning, mergers, acquisitions, selling businesses, purchasing businesses, those kind of things.
Okay. Let's hypothetically talk here for a moment about somebody wanting to get a divorce, and they walk into your office based on a wonderful recommendation from one of their family members. Mm-hmm. What is the first thing you look to do for them when they walk in?
Well, the first thing I do with people who walk into my office is ask them if they've tried reconciling. And because if someone's been married 4 or 5 years or 15 or 20 years, it makes sense to stop and talk about reconciliation. Did they give it an attempt?
Okay.
And that's
as part of that recommendation or that analysis, do you often, or I shouldn't say often, do you sometimes refer them to places if they're interested in pursuing that?
Sure, I can refer them to therapists and counselors and just share with them other people's attempts and try to encourage them to give that a shot first.
Okay. And assuming they don't want to do that or they've already done that, what's the next step?
Well, assuming they've tried it and it's failed, then I take a history and try to get a snapshot of what their financial issues are, what the children issues are, and if there's any other intricacies about the divorce.
Now, I would imagine that if a person comes in and they're ready to file for divorce, and they're ready, the most important thing for them, I would hope, would be how to take care of the children.
Not always, but I try to push them in that direction because we all have different views on children. I'm sure my views are similar. I mean, I look at them as the golden nuggets.
Okay.
And you love them and you do your best for them and you want them to do better than evolution.
Even though sometimes we might want to roll them down the hill briefly.
Yeah. But for the most part, you want to do well for your kids and you hope they do better and accomplish more than you have, and that's my goal. But that's not always the case. But what I try to convince them is that they have these children and they're going to be parents for life with respect to these children, and they better take some steps now, so for their benefit, but more importantly for the benefit of their children.
All right. So the person has come in, they've decided they're going to move forward with the divorce. You've taken the history. What is it that you would do next?
Well, I explain the process to them. As far as
which many people don't understand.
That's right. I explain the legal process that they file a complaint. Their spouse is going to have the opportunity to answer that complaint and will most likely countersue for divorce.
Okay, so the complaint is filed in the circuit court where the people have resided for more than 180 days?
That's correct.
Okay, or in the county for more than 10?
That's correct.
Okay. So the lawsuit or the complaint is filed. I believe it's sworn by the person filing also?
That's correct.
Meaning they have to sign it?
If they have children, they have to do a verified complaint, so they have to sign that.
Okay.
And also sign a verified statement. So if they have children, they have to do that. If not, we can send it in without them signing it.
All right, and once that's done, the complaint is filed, it's then served upon the other party, or the other spouse, I should say, giving them an opportunity to respond.
That's correct.
Okay. Do you do both sides of the fence? In other words, do you do defense work if someone has been sued for divorce?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't limit my practice to just the male or the female, but we will bring cases for people and we'll also answer cases for individuals.
Okay. We've now got the answer filed. What typically happens in the process at that point? Because I know it can be a very slow process. It can be very tedious for the parents, if you will, or the litigants. So give them some information out there as to what they could expect.
Well, it depends on who their spouse hires as an attorney.
Okay.
What I try to do, if you have a couple and they've been married for 20 years and they know their financial situation. So my theory about getting in, getting out, and let the healing begin, and trying to keep that divorce fee as low as possible. We don't want them. I don't believe people should spend their kids' college education, their tuition on the divorce. So what I'd like to see happen, if we can get the other attorney to come in and we can meet the four of us, and we can bring their tax returns in, and because of my background, I'm comfortable with it, we can get a snapshot and we can figure out what the assets are. What do they have as far as assets? What do they have as far as debt? And get a picture of that, as opposed to sending out discovery, taking depositions, having appraisers come in, that kind of thing. To the extent the parties can agree and they're on a level playing field, it makes sense to do that.
Does that happen very often, though?
It does in my cases because I do my job to work with the other attorney and try to get the other attorney there and to work in that fashion, as opposed to just working a file up the old-fashioned way where the court dates dictate how the divorce is going to proceed, and the attorney's other schedule and other client base dictates on how the divorce will proceed. My job, I believe, for clients is to try to get in and get